Defensive BFM is easy to understand. Put your lift vector on the bandit and pull. The bandit is outside your turn circle at 2 nautical miles. You can force him in front of your 3-9 line with a 7G pull. The bandit starts near your turn circle and drives to lag. You're in big trouble. There's no magic moves to spit him out. All you can do is hope for a mistake and take advantage of any bandit blunders. If no mistakes are made, get ready for a guns jink. Remember, it is better to jink too early rather than too late.
Here they are side by side, the air combatants of the Korean War. This is the F-86A Sabre, to this day one of the most beautiful jet fighters ever built. Big bubble canopy so you could see, low wing loaded so you could turn, good speed, good stable gun platform. Opposing the Sabre was this airplane, the MiG-15, an aircraft that set the mold for many a Russian design that would follow. It had a big engine, high left wing, and 3 very large cannons.
Now for MiG Alley.
The end result was that this relatively unsophisticated fighter could outturn, outclimb, and out-accelerate the Sabre. The matchup was a blowout, over 10-1 for the 86, mostly because of the skills of the Sabre pilots. Missiles weren't around then, so there were no BVR engagements. The men who flew F-86s found these MiGs with their Mark I model eyeballs, used mutual support, discipline, and great BFM to get to their 6 o'clock, and simply blew them away the old-fashioned way with 650 caliber machine guns.
We just talked about defensive BFM. Now let's talk about head-on BFM. Here are the head-on BFM DLOs. Given a head-on pass, okay, given a head-on position on the bandit, first thing is to kill the bandit, okay? Employ weapons if you can. Next is to BFM and gain 3-9 line position on the bandit, okay? That's the next thing we'd like to do. Given we can't kill him at the pass or whatever, do some BFM and gain 3-9 line. The next thing, or the last DLO is, if you can't do those two, leave, okay? And you notice that's a recurring theme, you know? If you can't really do the objectives, okay? We start talking about head-on BFM. We talked earlier about how we exchanged P sub S energy for position. Here's my knots, I want position. Well, here's the thing you're going to have to ask yourself. When you pass a guy like this, it took a lot of BFM when you started behind him, and it took a lot of energy to kill him. Well, you can imagine now when you start like this how much time and energy it's going to take. Okay, this is a 1v1 BFM discussion, so we're not talking about time. Time is tactics. You can think of time as tactics. We're not going to talk about tactics. We're just going to talk about, now, okay, we're committed to fight, so we're going to fight. But I will throw out, though, when you pass a guy head on, you've got to think very seriously that, do I really want to fight this guy or not? Because it's going to take a lot of time to kill him. Now, you may not have a choice, right? You may be defending something or someone, in which case now the tactical choice is made. You've got to turn and fight. You've got an AWACS back there. So there may be a tactical reason, you know, why you have to turn and fight. But you really got to ask yourself, it's going to take a lot of energy to do this, okay? A fighter pilot, when he gets in a fight, has got to think in terms of his escape window. And I'll just bring this out briefly now. An escape window, I always think in terms of an escape window, my safe path out of the fight. If I jump a guy and I'm 2 miles back and he doesn't see me, I have a huge escape window. At any time I can take my jet, fly through that window, and get out of this fight, okay? The window's huge when you end up in a fight. You know, I like to draw a window just to show you the effects. If you start behind a bandit that doesn't see you, that window's huge. Okay? If you start head-on a bandit, okay, that escape window's still big. We can fly our jet whoosh right out that window and get away. Okay? Once you start this turning fight, once you start this groveling, okay, once the spaghetti starts to spread all over the place, all over the sky, that window closes down, and it closes down rapidly, because as you expend energy, the window closes. As you turn, every 90 degrees you turn, your situation awareness goes down of what's going on around you. Okay, if you're fighting this one guy and you're in this food fight with him going round and around, you don't know what's going on around you. You're just fighting this one guy. As your situation goes down, as your energy goes down, your escape window closes down. Your chance to get out of the fight, you lose that chance to get out of the fight. Okay. So now we've got several choices when we go out and pass this guy and we're committed to fight. Let's talk about some terms and definitions here of a head-on pass. Here we're going to show a one-circle fight, because you always hear in head-on, one circle, two circle, those kind of things. Here we have a one-circle fight because what happens is both targets turn and their circle is on the same side. You had a fulcrum turning right, an F-16's turning left. This is what we call a one-circle fight because the radiuses are on the same side. Okay, that's a one-circle fight. Okay. If there's a one-circle fight, then there's got to be a two-circle fight, of course. And what happens there is both guys turn into each other. They both make, like on a left-to-left pass, they both turn left. And you can see that here on the telestrator also. Fulcrum versus Falcon. You're going to pass head-on again, and both guys will turn, looks like left. What happens here is you've got two circles. Okay. That's a two-circle fight. Let's talk about why you'd want to do one or the other. You'll notice in the one-circle fight, when this guy turned this way, it ended up being a much tighter, you had one guy turning like that and the other guy, turning the same way. You end up with this range being a lot tighter. In a two-circle fight, as they come together, this range that you come head-to-head is a lot greater, okay? So what tactical implication does that have? Well, if you're fighting, let's say you ran out of missiles, and you're fighting a guy that still has missiles, heat missiles, and you probably want to try to fight a one-circle fight against that guy. You probably want to jam. You probably want to get inside arm in, right, and stay there. Boy, I don't want to get outside arm in on this guy because I ain't got a missile. All I got's a gun. There's no arm in for a gun. I want to get inside his arm in for his missile and stay there. The same thing will happen to an airplane that doesn't have a head-on, shooting capability. Like if you fight a MiG-17, MiG-19, guy can't shoot you in the face, he's probably going to want to take you one circle. He's going to want to take you one circle because he can jam your missile. Okay, two-circle fight, just realize you're fighting a fulcrum and the fight goes two-circle. What's going to happen here? You're both going to have a shot opportunity here, so you got to be careful. Got to be careful in here. He can shoot you also. So a two-circle fight basically gives you more room away from the guy. The other option we have is we can go flat, one circle, two circle, we can go vertical, right? We can go into the vertical. Normally a vertical move in an F-16 is never done at the initial pass. It's usually done after we turn one way or the other. And most all fights are two-circle fights because we do want an opportunity to shoot them with the mic. We pass, we want to turn, try to get around and take a shot at them with the mic. And most head-on fights, if they're similar airplanes, right, starting at similar energies, Fulcrum versus, F-16, what's going to happen? It's just going to end up being get lower and slower in this grovel. Okay, as we spend energy for position, lower and slower in the grovel. At some point in there, though, you can take the fight vertical. Okay, you can use that energy egg we talked about. You can take the fight up into the vertical, okay, and that's another option. The time I use the vertical is when I go out there and look up at the sun and say, there it is, right in front of me. Because if I get that sun lined up and create a shadow in the cockpit, and that guy's down from that shadow, well, guess what? He doesn't see me. He doesn't see me. I'm in the sun. Anytime I line that bandit up with the shadows, if I see that high sun, that is one time I'll go up. Most times I don't go up. Because if you go up, you got that cold blue sky and the missile. You're a hot target among that cold blue sky, so I don't like to go up. Normally I'll keep the fight two-circle. To review, a fighter pilot has several options during a head-on pass. The first and foremost option is to take a shot, if you can, at the bandit. If the bandit doesn't blow up, you should think carefully about your escape window. The ability to leave the fight is biggest right at the pass. If you decide to turn, you can turn away from the bandit or into the bandit. Depending on which way the bandit turns, this will cause a one-circle or two-circle fight. A two-circle fight will give you, and possibly the bandit, a better chance at a head-on missile attack. A one-circle fight will tend to jam both fighters inside minimum range for a heat missile shot. Remember, it will normally require a lot of energy to convert a head-on pass into a shot.
The Century Series aircraft that replaced the F-86 all had one thing in common. They're fast as hell. Now, speed's fine, but it's not everything. When you put razor-thin wings on a fighter so it'll go Mach 2, you can't turn. When you discard the bubble canopy in favor of an aerodynamically slick design, you can't see. But you play the hand you're dealt. This is a 105 Thunder Chief, affectionately known as the Thud, the biggest single-engine fighter ever built. It was designed to deliver nuke weapons very low and very fast, but it ended up hauling iron bombs and rolling thunder. On paper, in a pure 1v1 against a MiG, it hardly stood a chance. Yet Thud pilots shot down 27 of them, 25 with a gun. They didn't accomplish this remarkable feat because of the air-to-air virtues of the Thud. They did it through discipline and mutual support and guts.
Let's get out of here to the southwest.